Hello, this is Lisa Russick and Misty Lore with the podcast We Are All Psychic. And today we have a really cool guest who just worked some kind of magic. We'll talk about it on the podcast. Her name is Chigusa. Would you like to say hello?
Yeah, I'm Chigusa. I'm an inner Zen coach.
Inner Zen coach.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I need.
We all do.
There's not much inner Zen. On the outside, it might look like it. It probably doesn't.
Yeah.
But that must be very helpful.
Yeah, I help heal soul of human and animals through meditation, and I'm calling it bomb-proof energy meditation. Because whenever you're doing meditation, right, you feel good when you do it, but you go to the world and you're like it doesn't work.
How do I use this? Yeah. But before we get into what you have to talk to our listeners and watchers about, this is a Spotify video, watchers. We have a question for you. And Misty, would you like to ask the question?
Sure. Do you believe that we're all psychic?
Yes. I wholeheartedly believe. I believe we are all psychic. And if we are not, I think we should all be.
Yes, she said it.
Right?
We agree.
Because psychic means, so before this, I looked up what psychic means. And it says of or pertaining to human soul. And I personally, because I work with people's souls, I believe all are connected at soul level. But when you're born, you start disconnecting from it.
Yes.
Some influences. And when you are connected to soul, you are at the most natural state of being. Like you are happiest, healthiest, with no fear, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. But we start disconnecting, right? So I believe that we are all psychic. And if not, then we ought to be. We need to go back to that state.
Agreed.
100%. He said back to that state. What seems like you might know some esoteric knowledge here about something about maybe how things were once before men came and told us what to do. No, just kidding. But that's very interesting. How exactly do you go about teaching people with your skills? Like, what is an inner Zen coach exactly? I imagine it would be getting someone to that peaceful place and in touch with their soul. Mm-hmm. But like, how do you go about doing that? Like, what is your process, your technique?
Yeah. So technique is basically simple. It's a meditation, and it's simple, but it's very difficult for people because it's one thing that I teach is emptying your mind. And that's probably the one thing that's most difficult for many people, including myself. Yeah. When I started on this spiritual journey, somebody told me to meditate, and it's like, I can't meditate. Like, I start thinking, and I can't empty my mind.
Most people do have that reaction. I can't if they don't really want to get done on that.
But if you want to heal yourself, you get to that point. So I help coach people to get there.
That's really cool.
Exercises and things.
I imagine it would be different for each person. I guess you'd have to kind of cater it differently to every person. Mm-hmm. So were you always were you raised around this kind of energy work or anything like that? How did you get involved?
No, not at all.
Me neither. Yeah.
I grew up in Japan. So Japan, naturally, I don't know if you know, but all those kind of spiritual things are integrated. So we talk about some things that like it's normal.
Yeah.
So I grew up not having that kind of reaction to things like psychic and things like that. Even though it's still considered somewhat woo-woo in
pseudoscience, yeah.
But I was more open to it. But I personally was not psychic. I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. That wasn't how I was brought up until I was awakened, per se.
Yeah.
It didn't happen until very recently.
Do you want to talk about that, or is it too personal to talk about?
Oh, no, yeah, I can talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been working in a corporate world for 20 plus years. That tells my age.
But not our age. You don't look it. Yeah, you're about our age, I think. You're Generation X, I guess. So yeah, you're with us.
I struggled, especially coming from Japan, working in the US, and it's like kind of dog world, and I just couldn't let myself be that person who bosses people around and things like that. And I always told myself like I'm not good enough, and it was like imposter syndrome and all that stuff. And that just built up so much. And at one point I felt like, oh, I should just like not be here. That was like my lowest point. What helped me is I had 2 dogs at that point. Helped me or didn't help me, actually. It was because
dogs.
One of them had a behavioral issue, and I was struggling with it, and I was at the end of the rope. So I went to animal communicator to seek help. And that's sort of what opened up my eyes to spirituality and things. Even though the communication that happened, they're like, oh, you need to train your dog. And I train my dogs. I'm like a big dog trainer. So like training a dog, it doesn't really make sense. So I'm like, maybe I should learn how to do animal communication myself. And I got into animal communication. And the funny thing is it was an in-person, very rare nowadays, but in-person animal communication class. I went there. Everybody was either psychic or healers. And I was me. Some geek from some corporate.
Well, we're all psychic, so you had to be one of them.
I love
it. So that kind of started out my journey on like, oh, I need to meditate. Oh, I need to open.
And you kind of got excited because it's not like, meditation is different for everybody. We all do it differently. Some people can dance and meditate, and some people have to sit and lay down and be real quiet, and it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how I started, and I met Reiki in the beginning through my dog's issues. I had animal communicator come to my house, and she happened to be a Reiki teacher, and she's like, "Oh, I should attune your dogs," and I'm like, "Reiki?
Really?
Attune? What is that?"
She attuned your dogs to Reiki. That's really cool.
Yeah. I should, and I'm like, I should learn that. So that's how I got started and started really healing myself first.
Yes.
And then
yes.
And then
don't you think that dogs are easier to work with than humans?
It's yes and no.
Easier,
so that's kind of it's yes and no. So dogs especially, because dogs are very connected to their owners.
Yes.
And I believe they are the mirror of your emotions.
Yes.
So that's what I think. I think my cats are little mirrors too.
Yeah. Cats, cats too, but dogs are worse.
You know what I think it might be though? Because dogs they need a lot of care. They need to be walked.
They're very needy.
Cats don't need all that. But if people are like I'm home all day, I talk to my cats constantly. They're my little friends, and this one's a big friend, big 20-pound cat. But I've noticed people who are like that with their cats will mirror them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Animals mirror them. Dogs tend to go to places where human goes. They are rare. I mean, there are people that has cats on leash, but there are people.
They don't like it. They don't like change.
See it very often, right?
They don't like change. So they get their spot and they stay there. Yeah.
Dogs are not the animals that goes to those places, and we're taking them, and it's like reflecting your fear. So in my case, I used to be very shy and don't want to talk to people. So my dog was mirroring that fear. When somebody comes up to me, she would bark, because I didn't want to do anything with that person. So she was protecting for me. So
she barking for you. Say wait.
For me.
Your real instinct is to bark at them and growl, but you can't.
Yeah. So I'm going to start doing that.
I might start doing that. They would go away, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
That'll get rid of them.
That's why I said it's yes and no, because when it's not that case, it's easier. But if it's human connection, then you need to deal with the human part of the healing as well as the animal. And that makes it a little bit harder, because a lot of people come to me, heal my animal. And they're not ready to be told, like, you're the one who needs healing.
The mirroring.
Yes, I can see that totally.
Yeah. I've seen it.
It is easier to heal the animal than it is the human.
Because we all have this thing called brain and logistic mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They've got us pretty wrapped around their paws, because they got us feeding them, taking them out, taking him to the vet. Speaking of listeners and watchers, my cat Einstein is sick today. And Chigusa and I were writing back and forth about the podcast. And I told her and told Misty we might have to wait because I needed to take my cat to the vet. And I took him to the vet to Saturday, listeners and watchers. So I had to take him to a Bansfield. And it's like I think those aren't those Bansfields. I think they're like places where veterinary students kind of get some training. They were great up there. He was throwing up, listeners, and kind of gagging. And he finally was just foam after all the food came out. And then he stopped overnight. And then this morning again, so I took him to the vet. And I was telling Chigusa about it. And she says, well, I do work with animals. And she says, is it okay if I check, I don't know how you said it. I think you said communicate with him in the message.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly how you put it. And I was like, okay. So then she came back a little while later. We're on Alignable. We're talking back and forth. And she came back a little later and told me that she had found some evil. You go ahead and tell them about how you did that. Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know how you did it.
Yeah. So when I have either animal or human come to me, I have checklist of things to check. And so is there evil spirits or evil entity or demons or some curse or anything that evil, and also what their soul energy level is.
Okay.
Because soul energy is like a balloon. And when it's full, you are able to heal with any kind of issues. But when it's empty, it's very surviving.
Okay.
So I check that and then I figure out what's the best course of action. So in Einstein's case, Einstein had evil spirit and evil entities, nothing else. And then there was no connection for this particular issue. There was no connection to you, Lisa. So that means I could just work on him rather than working on both of you. So that's what I did.
So he's still coughing now. I mean, ever since I brought him back from the vet, I don't see any difference but when I brought him back from the vet and now. The only difference is that his brother, Gandalf, is not his biological brother. This is his brother that got him at the same time. Came up and licked his face, which, they love each other, but they're boy cats, but he'll take care of Ein and Ein will take care of Gandalf when they're sick and stuff, like cleaning ears and stuff like that. But he hasn't really changed much. But now listeners and watchers, she did say that it might take some time for him because she worked on him. She said she got him to like about 5% left of some that might not want to be there. So we'll have to keep an eye on you, Einstein, and see how you do. But right now he's just very calm. And she did say, listeners, that the one word she got from him was chicken. And I looked at the food that I think may have caused him this problem possibly doesn't have chicken, but his wet food's always fish, but he could have gotten some chicken somewhere. I didn't think about that. I haven't had chicken, but I mean, I wonder what the chicken is. And I'm kind of wondering if it's a metaphor because Einstein's a very smart cat and he's a communicator.
So it could be that it's not chicken, the food. It could be something else.
It could be something else, like a chicken spirit. Like, because we're in Alabama, we got some people with the chickens.
Because he was saying that the spirit jumped into him, so it could have been chicken spirit. And that's why I prefer doing the session personally, so that I can kind of pinpoint the.
Yeah. What would that mean if it's the spirit of chicken?
What? I'm sorry.
What would it be like if it was say it was a curse, like a chicken curse? Like, I don't know about they have root work down here in the South, a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't know much about it, but I do know of practitioners who are said to have used that type of stuff in the area. Some of the darker aspects of witchcraft and stuff like that, and voodoo and stuff. So when I think of chickens, that's where I go. Kind of like, oh, that's what I thought.
That could very much be. And for the listeners, psychic reading or animal communication is not you get 100% of the information.
Right.
It's sort of like a charade.
It is. Yes, we talk about that. Why, I don't get it. We don't know everything. We've talked about that. It's like a misconception a lot of people have with any kind of energy workers or psychics or, we don't know it all. We hardly know ourselves. We know ourselves better maybe than we did, last year. That's kind of our goal, right? Working with energy and healing ourselves. And it makes us want to heal other people because it's so awesome to feel good I'm not great all the time. Of course not. I'm like a mess half the time, but I try to work on changing it. And like you said, I was very shy, very shy and scared of what people might think or do, or any kind of effect I had on my environment. I didn't want to do, I was very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of restrained. I was always restraining myself from doing what I wanted. And also didn't know what I wanted to do in general. Like, do I want, I know like basic things like smile. I do want to smile, but I mean, when I'm in a conversation with strangers and I'm actually younger and feeling so insecure, especially when you're an empath and you're picking up all this stuff and you don't even know what an empath is. You never heard of that before. It's like one of the reasons I wanted to start the podcast was for all the empaths out there who've never heard that word, and they are feeling people's emotions and they're thinking they're theirs and they don't know why they're coming home depressed from school or something like that. That's what I did a lot. And I feel like with animals, I've always felt like well, this is kind of neat. So, I said Einstein's a communicator. I think I've talked about this on the podcast, but he actually, one time I was meditating on my bed, and I don't blank my mind when I meditate. Sometimes it blanks. Sometimes there's a lot of storms in there. I just kind of do whatever, like you were saying, it's hard to just shut it down. And hi, Gandalf. Yes, we're watching Einstein. And I was lying there, and Einstein was on the bed with me, this little boy, or big boy. And I heard he was looking at me with the love eyes, across the bed. And I had my head on the pillow and he was down at the other foot of the bed. And he just starts real more slowly. And then I kind of closed my eyes and I started just listening to him purr. And then his purring was right in my ear, but he hadn't moved. And then I could hear him breathing in my ear. Misty's heard about this. And I realized this is what I thought was happening anyway. I felt like he was telling me how animals communicate with each other. They breathe. They have we have small lungs. We can't get out a sentence, what you call a sentence. We don't have lips. We breathe. And we have very good ears. That's how he explained it, And he's like, and they don't really talk to each other unless they're fighting, like meowing. And dogs don't much bark unless they're playing or fighting, It's just kind of interesting. I thought that he had told me that, and I don't know. And then you said he came through pretty clear for you with that chicken, saying that word chicken. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to your original question about the chicken. So we all are like empaths, you mentioned. We are all basically living in a soup of all sorts of energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And
jambalaya.
And I mentioned the soul's energy and the balloon. When it's full, all those things doesn't really bother us, right? It kind of bounces back. But when it has a tear in the balloon or like there is some weakness to it, those things start coming to you and then it drains your energy. Yeah. So in Einstein's case, I don't know what happened, but there was something that caused his body to be a little bit weakened. And that's where some energy that was flying around got to him. And that could have been the chicken thing.
That makes more sense to me than a food because, like I said, there are people in this area who do that kind of magic, that kind of root work stuff. So, but it could just be, there's a lot of people in the city that keep chickens in their yards and they're not supposed to. And who knows, maybe one passed away and came to visit, said, "Hey, let me live in you." I don't want to die.
Right. And the key is to keep your soul strong. And then I'm empath as well. And one thing that I learned in the beginning of the healing journey is as I heal other people, I was getting all that stuff myself. And at one point I said, if I continue doing that, there could be somebody who has much larger issue that could kill me. So I need to learn how to protect myself. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got into this soul healing. So I know.
Let me ask you this. When you do the animal soul healing, do you, kind of like Lisa was saying, do you kind of look into their eyes and kind of communicate that way and get the feel of them? Or do you do it like in a meditative state?
I would say in a meditative state. I communicate through heart.
Okay.
I don't, as long as there is soul communication, I don't typically need to see a picture. Picture helps because I can pinpoint better. But if I'm like, let's say I'm talking to you, Misty, and you mention some animal, and then like I can tap into that animal without seeing the picture because we are like, you give the permission to connect.
Right. You just feel the energy. Yeah.
Right. And it's all energy. It's all there. It's kind of like radio frequency that's going around there. You just need to know a dial to tune into.
I was wondering that because like a lot of times, like I've got 3 dogs and one of them I connect with more than the other 2. And she is just my baby. And I can literally look into her eyes and almost like read each other's minds. You know, it's like I go deep in when I look into her eyes, and it's just, it's really beautiful. You know, so I was wondering how you did it and if that was a way to do it as well. Yeah.
And also different people learn different techniques. So that's one thing that's, I used to teach, I'm like on hold right now, but I used to teach Japanese students doing animal communication. And one thing that I teach them is like different people communicate in a different way. So don't think that the way that I taught you is the only way. Because then like you're basically making yourself a block or a wall. Like, this is the only way, and I can't do it, so I can't do this communication.
It's kind of a creative thing to work with energy in any way. It's a creative endeavor, I think, and in some way, it's a spirit. You know, spirituality is very connected to creativity, I think. And so when we're working with the energy, and people will say, you know, like last year I wasn't as good as this year. Next year I'll say the same thing about last year's because we're working with it, you know, and getting better at it. And building, a lot of people say it's like a muscle. You know, a lot of people come on the podcast say it's like a muscle. And I think that's with healing your soul. It sounds like about the same. You're healing the soul level healing. That would be a lot of hard, deep down, gut wrenching work. I would think that. You know,
and also a lot of spiritual teachings nowadays say like, if you are happy or if you are in the right path, you don't feel pain, or like you're not like you shall not be anger, or like everything is okay kind of thing. It's like, I don't believe that's right. Like every time when there is a sorrow or there is anger, those are the places where there is a lot of learning to be had. Because you need to let go of these. Next time when you experience the same thing, you might not be as angry as you were before, because that's not your journey anymore. And that's where my bomb-proof come from, because I said I'm a big dog trainer, and like dogs, you have to train the same thing in different environments. Yes. And then they get desensitized, and then like they're okay. Like they might be fearful of something first time, but then like they get used to it. Soul healing is somewhat similar to that. Like if you avoid, let's say chicken is an enemy, and you avoid it, next time when you see chicken, that's still scary. Yeah. But if you see it every day, that's okay. Like
I had a phobia of flying in airplanes, and whenever I have a period of time blocked off where I've been flying a lot, by that last flight, I'm not scared at all. But then if some time goes by, I have to get on a plane, I'll have that phobia again. You know, it just comes back. But if I've been doing it regularly, I'm not scared.
Right.
I have a question.
That's one way. Let me add to that. That's one way, but with the soul healing, we can go to that kind of energy that you hold. And then we can let go of that energy, that fear energy, so that you don't need to like be exercising, going on the plane every time. Right?
That's expensive.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Travel the world. You got to get rid of that phobia.
Okay, Misty.
This is Frank.
Frank, hi, Frank.
This is my baby. Frank has a problem, or I have a problem. He keeps pooping in the hallway when I leave. Can you help me with him?
Okay.
He's telling you.
Like, am I in trouble?
You know what you've done.
Yeah, he knows.
Let me go into my space so I can talk to him. he thinks that is the place to poop.
Okay.
Why does he think that? He's showing me that's the area that's called toilet. So I don't know about that.
He's a stubborn dog.
I choose this spot. This is my toilet.
Yeah. So,
it might go back to him being afraid to go out, Misty. We had another pet animal communicator who said that he doesn't like to go out by himself. He wants Misty to escort him.
I have a doggy door.
Maybe he's pooping right there where they usually pick a spot. Maybe he's pooping inside. Not so he doesn't have to.
As far as I know, he is not thinking that is a problem. That is a place
That
for
sounds
him
like
to go
him.
to.
That is for me. It's a problem.
Yeah, so that's where if we were to do like animal communication session, we explain how that is not the right thing for the human world, right? Because this is all human mentality, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dogs don't know that's wrong or right.
I was like, Mom cleans it up. It must be.
Yeah, exactly. And cats go in the house in the litter box.
Right.
So why shouldn't dog be?
Yeah, that sounds like my dog. Yeah.
So
thank you for that. I was just wondering.
If I were to do a session, that's how we have communication, like explain like our point of view, but also listen to their point of view, right? Like there might be a reason why he doesn't want to go outside, like you said.
So could we train him to do that in a session?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out for our listeners too, what services you would offer as far as training the dogs and, what you can do.
Yeah. And I said yes, but it depends, right? Case by case, because it's not just the dog, but it's also human. I have had human who says yes, but don't implement what I have said. Of course, it doesn't, it doesn't work if you don't say. And animals are really stickler about promises and lies.
They are.
So if you promise, like one thing that I always tell my client is like, if sometimes I say like, please give your pet a treat for me, or like, I promise, I don't want to promise, right? Because I don't know what the owner does, but like, can you please promise that you will give this treat for them?
They remember. They understand everything we're saying.
Yeah. And then next time, if that didn't happen, they won't either talk to you or they won't listen to you. And that happens with the human owner too. Like you might be saying, oh, I'll take you to park, right? And then, oh, it got busy and I don't take you. Those kind of broken promise does add up.
Oh, if you explain it to them, sometimes they do understand. But if it's like one after another, always an excuse, they'll be hurt feelings. My boyfriend has that dog that we just saw, Frank's father. Yes. And his name's Oscar. And I'm dog sitting him. My boyfriend's out of town, so I'm dog sitting.
Oh, I didn't know you were dog sitting.
Well, I was going to bring him over here, but Einstein got sick. That's why I have this netting up. I was going to keep him in the kitchen. But with Einstein being sick, he just was gagging again. But when my boyfriend is a catering chef, so he's up really early and has to be at work. And his dog, if he's not going to work, like usually he sets his alarm for 3. And around 3, if he's not getting up, Oscar will either start walking in circles around the room so his chain will jingle, or he'll cough. And he doesn't have to cough. He's trying to wake Chris up to get up and go to work. He's being really thoughtful. So I realized this, and I said to him one day at around 3 a.m, he's walking around. I'm like, hey, you know what? Daddy doesn't go to work today. You can go back to sleep. He hopped back up on his chair and went to sleep. And I always tell him, if we're going to bed, I tell him exactly what time his daddy is getting up. Or I'll ask, Chris, what time do you go to work? I hear that, Oscar. He goes in at 6, so you don't have to get up until around 4, and you don't have to get up until 4 unless you don't hear him, and he does. He does every time. Yeah. It's really great. Yeah.
I've seen my oldest dog. She used to, when Bella was little, at 6:00 every morning, she knew exactly what time it was. And she would go in and jump on my daughter's bed and lick her till she woke up. And she did that every Monday through Friday. She would go in and give her kisses. All I would have to say is, let's go wake up Bella. And she would go running towards Bella's room to wake her up.
That is so cute.
Thing. So sweet. So they are so smart, such smart animals.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the double-edged sword, right? They are listening. So, for example, like training dogs to not to jump on the couch, for example, right? And you let them sometimes, you don't let them sometimes. And then like when you let them, it's like, oh, this is cool. And like, I love when they're on the couch, and then you scold at them when they get on the couch.
Yeah. Right. So
they're very, very confused.
Yeah. You're confusing a child like that too.
Yeah. Confusing me.
Yeah. Anybody. Yeah.
And
well, yeah, people like also, they don't remember that they're animals. A lot of times when they talk about their animals, they're like my children, but they kind of are treated more like babies. But they can be like children who, with you, but they're not babies when they're grown. Yeah. You know, when they're kittens and puppies, they really are babies.
Well, Frank's still a baby to me.
Yeah,
a big baby.
And we're talking about like communicating with animals, but this whole same concept, it's same for human communication as well.
I think,
we talked about if we're all psychic, like we are. So even if we are like smiling and saying something,
there's
you're dying in your
energy.
Heart. The other person, even if they don't like get it in their head, their soul know.
Yeah.
That you're
Yes. Like looking into the eyes, they know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then that's why you kind of get the gut feeling like this person is not good for me, or like some people who you don't get along with, even though on surface it feels like you get along.
Yes, they can sense
that. So something that's interesting is like some of the most unsavory people I've ever met can animal charm. You know, and I don't know why that is. Maybe they just charm people the same way. They just trick them.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Unsavory part could be your like mirror of something, maybe something that you need to work through.
I mean, let's say like a dog, kind of like you're walking. No, I don't have a dog. Let's say I'm walking a dog.
You think that human is unsavory, but then like
the dog's reacting to how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking of cats. I never had a dog. I've had roommates who had dogs. I have allergy mostly to dogs.
Because that's the thing. Like, it goes both ways. Somebody could be smiling and you think they are nice people, but they could be not very nice.
Bad people.
The other way is that they might look like so bad and like angry and things, but their heart could be pure and like they're doing that out of love. Right? Like sometimes you have to tell, like when you have a child, sometimes you have to tell your child, like, don't do this because it's dangerous.
You might burn your hand. Yeah, you might catch on fire.
But you don't do that out of like despise. Like you're doing that out of love. And there are some people out there who just don't know how to communicate.
Yeah, especially love, because they weren't taught how to communicate love.
Right.
Usually.
And then those some people find them offensive. But it might not be their real soul telling.
It's an assumption they're making, maybe based on energy or their own, programming, who knows.
Right.
Just, people who have a heart of gold, if they are coming across jaded and angry, there's something on the outside. There's something they're not working through, or maybe they just want people to see them that way as part of their persona. Mm-hmm. Like the edgy actor or something.
Yeah, and it could be, like I said, it could be mirroring you, right? Like, the interaction is always about you.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's always about me, not you or you. Right. For you, it's not about us.
So if somebody angers you, there's something that is triggering inside you that is causing that anger.
Yeah.
If you get rid of that person is no longer offensive to you.
Yeah.
And that's
with energy, though, we can usually tell if someone's like a killer. I would say I would know that person's a murderer, but I think I would pick up that I don't want to be around this person. But there've been people you probably had this happen, not too many, handful of times. I just want to get away from the person. It just feels wrong. Get away. You know what I mean? You ever have that feeling? I think we all do, especially women. Yeah. We have that built in, stay away from that guy thing,
Or environment. You go into an environment, it's like, I should leave.
Yeah, or it's usually for me, it's just a person. It's just one person that will do this. It's just a random, just kind of like, there's nothing I can do for this person except get away from them. Like that's the best thing I can do for anybody in this situation. And I don't have any words for it. I don't know what it is. I don't feel fear necessarily. I just feel like a disgust. It's like I feel it in my solar plexus, like it's being smushed, and I feel sick to my stomach. And I just got to get away. I just know not to talk to them. And if they engage, I'm talking about like people that have got something damaged and they want to hurt people overall. That's how they get pleasure or something in some way, emotionally or physically, however they manipulate people. But they're manipulating their energy so they can feed off their energy in some way of fear or suppression or whatever they enjoy getting from them and taking their energy. So I think, even instinctively before I thought of things in energetic terms, I would think, I have a feeling, I have a feeling this person's dangerous, and I wouldn't listen to it always. But now that I'm older, I will listen to it pretty much all the time. But it doesn't happen much, with the absolutely dangerous person. Only about 5 times in my life has that happened, and I did not speak to those people. I left. So I did not have any proof that this works, but I just like that. This really strange feeling.
Your instinct.
It's an instinct. Yeah. But it's really related around the solar plexus, which is our will. And it's like these people have an aura, an energy about them that they want to crush the will, maybe because theirs is crushed at some point. I don't know. But have you ever had anybody like that, Chigusa, who has come to you and been very damaged that way, and you've been able to like clear out some of that trauma for them that made them that way?
Yeah. So the people who came to me are not that dangerous.
Right. I just wonder if that ever happened. I just wonder, because that's the kind of soul that, that soul needs some healing. I don't know if they would ever look for it, though.
Yeah, if that were to happen, it's not somebody who is in my immediate group. So like I can leave the situation. The thing that I've been working on, and that's how kind of I learned how to heal, is work situation, right? At work situation, you can't really say, I don't work with this person, even though I feel dangerous. Because
you can't do that.
And luckily, I didn't have any dangerous people working with me, but there are people who I just didn't resonate with, and just like we were energetically incompatible, but I had to work with them.
I've had that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been a journey for me to be able to open up my heart, but not letting them take my energy. It's kind of challenging.
Energy vampire. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't know sometimes that they're doing it. Yeah.
Right. Because if you don't open up your heart, you are also blocking the communication. So if there is a way for them to try to change themselves, we also can't connect. But at the same time, we don't want them taking our energy. So it's like,
no, if that's what they know, you got to prove it and point it out. When you did that, you made me feel bad, and it's taking my energy. Like explain what they're doing exactly and how it's working. People who they haven't conceptualized. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what I normally tell people is like, you need to raise your energy enough that there is abundance for them to take extra.
That's a good idea.
Just amp it and project it.
130, 200%.
Yes.
That excess energy. Where the problem happens is when you don't have enough, and then they take that and then they drain you.
Do you have any advice for like listeners who are working with their empathy and their energy and getting used to it for the first time, and maybe they encounter somebody who wants to take their energy and they think that's what's going on? What advice would you give to them to shield against that, or to prevent that, or how do you usually teach people to keep that from happening to them?
Yeah, there are many things that I teach, but one thing that popped in my head is to when you're meeting with this person ahead of time, send energy in the situation ahead of time. Like
Reiki, like sending Reiki to a situation.
Exactly. And if you don't know Reiki, you don't know how to send energy, just believe that you know.
Or say prayer.
Psychic. We all know how to do it. It's all in your head. Just like believe that it's happening, and just basically project like that situation in your heart about meeting this person, and just send love and energy in the situation. So when you go to that situation, that person is busy taking the energy from that thing that you already sent prior to that.
Love it.
Yes.
So that you don't need
That's
to. And
really
this really, really
cool.
works. Like if you have some meetings where you know that you're going to get drained because like
it's like a decoy. They take the energy out of my mango juice. Right? Is that what you're saying? Like you would maybe put it there and that's where they're
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I've never heard like redirection. I love that. That's really good.
Yeah. In the beginning when I was opening my heart up, I was bombarded and I couldn't like it was almost like dizzying every day.
Yeah.
So when I learned that and I have to go to like a meeting every day, every hour, so ahead of time, go to the bathroom and then do some meditation and send the energy.
It worked. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that next time I go to a doctor. So this has just been a really cool podcast. Thank you so much. Yes. Do you have any more questions for Chigusa or?
I think I've asked everything I had to offer.
And Einstein says thank you. Yeah, it's really interesting. And Einstein wants to say thank you. I'm giving him a little scratch. He says thank you for helping him. Yeah. He'll keep in touch.
I was wondering if you wanted me to do some meditation.
Yes, like she said she was going to do a meditation for our listeners and watchers.
Yeah.
We would love that. Yeah.
So before we start, if you could each rate your energy, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, and then 1 being
mine's about 7.
So best 7. Okay.
7 or 8. I'm feeling.
I'm about there. 7, 8. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any like health issues or something like that you could measure? Like if it's chronic, probably hard.
I have a lot of pain.
Pain?
I have bone spurs on my skeleton, and I have pain, inflammation all over. Yeah.
Okay. So
my hips, especially right now. But.
Okay. So if you were to rate your hip rating, so this is kind of backwards, but the 10 being the best and 1 being
the worst pain. The doctors don't know what that is, does he? It just depends on like the way I'm sitting right now. I have my foot under my hip, so it's propped up. But if I'm sitting in a different position, it'd be a 10. It'll bark at me. I mean, I'll jump and
10,
bark.
So the agony would be 1, 0. So
1.
like
1. Take 0 off. Yeah, 1. But normally, I'm riding around anywhere from a 3 to a 4 most days.
Okay, so it's pretty painful.
Yeah.
Is there, Misty, you have something?
I have mine under control, pretty much.
Okay, that's great. Okay,
I try to stay pretty positive.
Yeah, if we want to, we can do a very quick one.
Okay.
So how we do it is we close our eyes and do a breathing exercise. So we breathe through our nose and hold the breath and count your heartbeat as long as you can, 5, 10, 15 seconds, and breathe out through your mouth very, very slowly. And we're going to start when I count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Breathe in. Hold your breath. Breathe out very, very slowly. Just like you're breathing into a newly born baby's ear. And empty your mind. Emptying into your mind is what stops you from healing. And you're currently still in your head about 4%. You need to go to 0. Hear my instruction from your heart. Getting better, but it's about 3. Keep breathing, and I'll do some healing. Feel your heart and feel your heart expanding with love. And give permission for your soul to be healed. And feel your mind control being removed and returning to your pure self. And feel your aura being cleansed of all of the impure energy that you might have attracted throughout your life, throughout the day. Send love to any body part that is hurting. Body part has a spirit, and you thank those spirit for healing. And feel your energy expanding. And really feel your energy grounded and feeling love of Mother Earth. On count of 5, slowly open your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Take a deep breath and open your eyes. How you feel?
I feel good. You got that heart. You can really heal a heart chakra. You did good with that. I felt that when you were like, open your heart, feel it with your heart.
Yeah. I love that. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
How's your energy feeling right now?
I'm always kind of jacked up with energy or really low. I feel even.
Okay.
Like when my energy is amped, it's unstable. You know.
Okay. You were 7 before. What would you say now?
I just feel, I don't know. I don't want to put a number to it.
Okay, so
hard to explain. It's better, but it's
better.
like peaceful. Whereas my energy was more energetic, but it was unstable.
Right.
I feel like it's more stable now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about you, Misty?
I feel a lot more energized. I feel good. I feel like I got some more, I felt like I cleaned up my aura a little bit and got a little bit more color to it.
Mm-hmm.
I could have gone to sleep. You have a.
How's your hip, Lisa?
Well, let me put my weight on it. It's still hurting a little bit, but it's not that bad, as bad as it was when I did that.
Right. Yeah. Just remember, this was like, I don't know, 5 minutes.
Real quick then, yeah. I learned fast, so I'm going to practice with this. I might. Right. And I've got it on recording.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I teach, is that meditation is not about taking 2-3 hours out of the day to do it once and then call it good.
Right.
That helps, but like we don't have all that time. And also, as I mentioned, we are living in this energetic soup, right? So you don't just like brush your teeth once a month, right? You brush your teeth every day. You take shower every day. So like you need to meditate almost every second.
Yeah.
Right.
So
energy bath. Yeah. Like
so I want people to learn to do this quick.
And that's what I really liked when I learned Reiki. My favorite part was the brushing off. I still will do that even if I'm not doing Reiki. I'll just pull off like excess energy that I feel kind of weighting down stuff, you know, and that's something I really liked about Reiki, that when I took 1 and 2 that I still use a lot. I still do Reiki. I just learned it a couple of years ago. So yeah. Still pretty new. So where can listeners and watchers find out about you, learn about your services or anything else? You have a website?
Yeah, I have a website, www.bombproofzen.com. And it's important to have www in the front. It doesn't go to the page. If not, you don't. And then my email address is bpzencoach@gmail.com. So bombproofzencoach, bpzencoach.
And listeners, watchers, I'll put all that in the description of the podcast, so you can find her a lot easier to click instead of having and the www.
Yeah, and on the website, I have linked to the Facebook and Instagram and all that. Also
Great.
the email.
Awesome. Okay. And we'll put that in there. And lastly, I want to thank our sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app and website where you can get advice from psychics and empaths so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve.
You deserve.
You deserve it.
You deserve it.
You deserve it. You do. And I'm an advisor on Everclear under the name Lisa P, Leesap, not Lisa. I'm a Lisa Pisa on that site, on Everclear. And they are a wonderful sponsor. And I want to thank you, Chigusa, and I want to thank you, Misty. Of course.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa and Misty. I had fun.
You are welcome. And I want to love on our listeners and watchers. We love you. Here's some more cowbell for you. I know you loved it enough. Can't hear it, can you? I can't hear it. No, well. It's still, I can hear it. I guess, it is just my point of view. Like we talked about earlier. Anyway, listeners, we love you. Watchers, we love you. And we hope we'll see you again. And welcome to season 6.
Bye.
Bye.